allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kevin?
Here.
Nicole?
Here.
Tom?
Here.
Bob?
Here.
Rod?
Here. Visitors' comments?
I had a question for Tom. You had, when you were campaigning, you had made the comment that the township was $200,000 short of money. Can I ask you where you got that from?
I didn't see it anywhere. That's a question that I have.
Well, where did it come from though?
For roads,
Where do you figure there was 200,000 missing?
I didn't see where it was adjusted. I don't see where it's at.
Hmm. So where do you figure it went?
I have no idea.
Oh,
The comment was made that we have almost $200 for Birch Tree Road, and we have almost $200 for Man Road. Or
$200?
200,000, excuse me.
Yeah, well, the road for Birch was 165,000,
I see that now.
162,000.
Yep.
And there was 200,000 allocated for man at the end of the year.
Didn't see where that was.
Oh, so,
That was my question.
okay, because what I had heard was you said it was missing. And it was, there's no money missing.
No, I still don't see where it's at, and that is a question that I have.
Okay.
I think Patty will be covering that under your report, right, under 3.
I thought we fixed that on
We
Friday.
talked about it, but
Okay.
she didn't.
Okay.
Is there some place where you can fill out a form for a driveway request for a culvert?
Mhm.
I looked on the town website, I couldn't see one there, or I went on Marathon says there is no one on anymore. You have one?
Just one in the
Yeah,
ordinances.
Tell me
Anybody got
what-
a copy of one, or can I get one?
You gotta have your highway supervisor go out and see where you want your driveway and he'll fill you out a permit. They don't cost you anything.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah, I got a question about that letter to the editor last week, to the treasurer. If he could explain that letter to us a little better.
Well, I could. You want to take that up to the board and pass it up, please?
Follow through, huh?
You've got a lot of spunk in that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Huh?
I have one that's left my head home. That's fine.
How you doing?
Hey, not bad.
The report that I just handed out is the general ledger extract, January, February 2019. It's general property taxes revenue. And the $2 million that I addressed in that letter are highlighted. And because it says those are debits, when there should only be credits there, basically you have to multiply it by 2 to get how much the bucks were up.
And this happened in 2019?
Correct.
Can you
Who
clear
was the clerk and treasurer at that time?
Actually, I'm not completely sure. Wasn't me. Wasn't Patty.
It was Tanya and Donna.
It's also stated in here about personal property taxes collected, 34,000 had not been recognized.
Right, it had been collected and put into this account. It's embedded in the larger numbers, but it wasn't broken out and separated. Also, all of those accounts payable items are refunds for property taxes. Again, those are debits and they don't belong in there either. There's actually a separate line item, expense item for that kind of a thing.
I can recall, I think during that transition when you guys left and the other ones came, wasn't it a computer, not gonna say computer issue, but the system we're using one now and they wanted something different, and I think there was a time period in there where there was, if it was QuickBooks to some other program.
No, they've used QuickBooks the whole time. Donna was using the WinStar when she used it, and she, I think for the last year, she never even did anything. So, he had, how did he do that, Patty? He changed the accounting, or not the accounting, but the accounts. Wasn't that how it was?
Yes.
Okay.
There's nobody in this room to point a finger at. It's something that happened that got missed by everybody. The board certainly wouldn't have had eyes on it. It doesn't show up on the treasurer's report submitted every month. It doesn't show up in Patty's list of proposed disbursements. The only visibility you have to something like that would actually be on the agenda tonight. It's number 3 under the clerk's report, review of board budget and actual balances. There should, I would think, down in the lower portion, be the hundreds of thousands of dollars for Stratford and Marshfield schools and that kind of thing in the county. The budget would be broken out, but that year, there wouldn't have been any actuals. A board could miss that in March. You can miss it in June. You can miss. At some point in time during the year, somebody would say, well, we budgeted a couple $1 million. What did we do with it? But I really can't fault the board for not seeing it. It's a dog that didn't bark, it wasn't there.
But it's all fixed now and.
It's fixed. It was fixed back in September of 2019. But a couple of people made some commentary during the annual meeting to the effect that, well, when was the last time we had an audit? And they both said the exact same thing. So my point is, I don't think there should be an audit. But I also think that if you're going to do one, do it in 2019 where it was really screwed up.
I think the audit comes up every couple of years, and instead of the forensic audit being done at the high price tag, it is always just a review. I recall, because it's way less.
The review they did in 2015, the recommendations that were recommended at that time, Patty and Steve actually put them all in place at that time. Then when Michael came, he decided to change all of that. So now they've got it changed back to where the auditors had recommended it. So.
You remember what year Mike was in?
The last half of 2018.
Yeah, 2018, and Tanya was in 2008
Started
also.
in 18 and we went through 19, went through August of 19.
Yeah. She started, it must have been like November.
Yeah, end of October, November, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So this is really just labeling issues in the program, right?
It's the difference of accounting opinions.
So it's labeling, I mean, for a straight person like me, it's labeling.
Yep. However, you labeling or not, you should not take an expense out of a revenue line item. The auditors will tell you that.
And it was not a mistake. It was done consistently, January and February, and then there's all of the tax refunds, or somebody was horribly confused and they had their hand on the buttons.
And the point that Steve made, that you would not see that on a budget versus actual, is absolutely true. All you're gonna see is that balance on your revenue account. It's not gonna show you whether it's a debit or a credit going to that account. And honestly, for the paperwork that we have to file at the end of the year, which is coming up here for the state, I don't know why anybody would do it that way. Just my personal opinion.
And how much does a review cost versus an audit?
In 2016, I believe the review was 3,500, and we spent 2 days with the auditors. They had scheduled 3.5.
They usually figure it anywhere from 10 to 15 now. And then if you do a full audit, it's between 60 and 70,000.
Anybody else have any questions on this right now, the board? Anybody else from the crowd? Okay, approval of town board meeting minutes for April 12th, 2021.
I'll make a motion to approve April 12th, 2021, town board meeting.
I'll second it.
That's all.
Yep.
Is there any further discussion on the minutes? Since there is none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. Ayes have it. Approval of special town board meeting minutes of April 2027 in 2021.
I'll make that motion to approve April 27th, 2021.
I second that.
Any further discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. Ayes have it. Approved. Reports. Planning Commission, Dorothy.
Well, we, at our last meeting, we approved the Lake Wenzel. It's kind of a land swap, 6 acres here, 6 acres on the other side, because one of the lakes is building a house back there. That will be in front of the board tonight for your approval or disapproval. We've sent the maps to the North Central Regional Planning. They're looking over them. I haven't gotten a reply back, but they should meet with us next month, not this month. And then we've also haven't heard anything back from the properties that we've sent up to get out of farmland preservation. County hasn't said a word yet. Also, I've received 2 calls from the surveyor, Mr. Tim Breland, who hasn't talked to us for 2 years. He's got a piece of parcel that he's really pushing hard. Wasn't even up to the county yet when he called me. We got the report on the 6th. And until the plan commission looks at it first, and then it goes in front of the town board. Tonight he calls me and he wants to have a special joint meeting. Those are only approved by the board, the joint ones, and because it's a special meeting out of our ordinary structure, they have to pay for it. So when he sends me the email tomorrow morning, I will pass it on to your town clerk and she will pass it on. There's an awful push for this piece of property, and until I find out, talk to the county and find out what's going on, it doesn't look good. The driveways don't look good, easements don't look good. We'll just wait and see what transpires.
So the recommendation as you as chair for that committee is to let it go its normal course? Not have a special meeting?
Until he steps forward and tells the clerk that he is going to pay for it and the board agrees that they will pay for it.
Okay.
The route is the normal procedure.
What he was requesting is a joint meeting, so you'd have the full board and the plan commission, so it cost him what, $250, Patty?
325,
320, okay, it's about $175. And then 150,
40,
120. Oh, that's right, that went up.
200.
Yeah, okay, I forgot that went up, sorry,
325.
yeah. That's
If
what
he
it would
calls you,
cost
that's
him.
what it would be if you have a joint. It's your meeting per diem and the plan commission meeting.
And we won't be able to do it on a normal plan commission meeting night this
Well,
next month,
That's the 24th.
because that's the
I
Monday.
mean, you're gonna
24th.
be here until 8, but I don't know if they're gonna be here till 8.
Right.
But they don't have to be if you don't have a joint. If the plan commission gets it on their agenda, call a special meeting after board review.
Thought we got burnt on this stuff a while back, that we weren't gonna run special stuff just to push these things through because it just.
Only if
We
they
were,
pay
that's
for
why
it.
we implemented the fee. Because normally they don't want to pay the fee.
I'll wait for Dorothy to get the email to see what.
Okay.
Do we have to do anything tonight as a board to make it happen, if they do come up with it? Okay. Anything else, Dorothy?
That's it.
Okay. Fire department, Adam?
Right, since the last regular board meeting, we've had 3 EMS calls, 1 mutual aid and safer, 1 motor vehicle accident. No new hires at this time. The department has elected 2 new officers, Lori Bauer as assistant chief, and Pat Weigel as first captain. Training for the month of May will be driver's training, and we'll see the vehicles to drive around the township. You incorporate like a map finding, so they have some driver's training and map reading kind of all tied in one. For EMS, training is planned out for the year. The group will be updating their protocols to align with the state scope of practice. And I also forgot to add at the end that we were looking for permission to apply for grants for Harbor Freight and Bridge and for the DNR grant this year.
Three grants you want permission to, so we gotta put that on the agenda for.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, I don't know if I had to ask at the meeting or if you guys had to put it on the agenda. What did we determine last time? Did you have a predetermined list last time or?
Agenda items.
Okay.
We'll get on next month's agenda then, Adam.
Alright.
Is there any deadlines that we have to worry about?
Not that I have seen
No.
on Harbor Freight or English.
The DNR is in July, but we have time yet.
Okay. Any other questions of Adam?
What?
I have one. Is there any fee on this? Is there any cost to the township for these grants?
For the DNR, it's 50/50. I'm not sure on the Enbridge, and the Harbor Freight is a straight donation.
Okay.
Enbridge, there is none. They usually, we usually put in for like steel monitors and multi-gas meters. And then I get an estimate, they pay for the whole thing.
Moving into, since there's nothing else, got one more?
Not under reports, but since we don't have any reports, anybody in charge of anything right now, did get some calls concerning the road in Winterberry. Apparently it was broke up, gravel was put over the top, and it's pretty rough now, so residents were kind of hoping there's something. I said, I'll bring it up.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, let's move into unfinished business then. Treasurer financial report.
Well, the accounts reconciled, nothing unusual going on there. I would point out that we still have a reservation for the bridge of about $212,000. No idea when that's gonna come due.
Since brought up the bridge, They're gonna be starting that in August about 27th, they said.
Yeah.
Why did it get
When
delayed?
did the bridge get moved back?
The company that's doing the work set up their schedule, and that's when it falls into the schedule.
Oh, when school starts.
But I was reassured by the county that it's a big company and that they will have it done before deer season. More or less when they quit, what corresponds with deer season is the blacktop plant also closes down for Americans, so.
As a father, you think deer season is more important than sending your kids to school?
No, I was using it as a
Yeah,
time
I
frame.
know, but I mean.
And that's the time frame that I was given, so.
Then the other note that come out of the Town Association meeting, the big one, in my opinion, even though 153 is being kind of surveyed and marked out right now for stuff, it has officially hit the list. It could be 5 years from now, it could be 10 years from now, but there is no immediate plan for Highway 153 from 13 to Stratford to be redone. There's no time frame. But it made the list finally, so there's no hope yet.
Isn't that kind of a conflict between if the state could pawn it off onto Marathon County?
No,
And Marathon County won't take it till it's fixed?
no, how it works is the state, for all roads, the state have representatives that work, that are in charge of that. I deal with the individual in the county for that. They always say their hands are tied, there's no money, that they can't do anything, and it really comes down to budgets and whatever they seem fit and how they wanna do it. Sometimes our guys can't mow lawn, or mow the ditches because they're reclaiming shoulders because there's no money.
Sorry for derailing you a little bit there, Steve. Is there anything else that you had?
No?
Okay. Clerk's report, Patty?
I want a motion to approve.
I'd like the motion to approve the financial report.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve the treasurer's report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. Ayes have it. Approved.
Alright. So the notifications and correspondence, we announced this at the April 12th board meeting that the UW Extension Office wanted an officer of the organization to sign an assurance for non-discrimination by partner organization, and since that was presented as a board transition, the signature still outstanding, so you want to sign that one. And then each one of you should have received a notification from Wisconsin Towns Association. You're all enrolled in the town officials workshop. The morning sessions started this week, and the afternoon sessions are next week, Monday. Got a quote in the mail from Wisconsin Salt Solutions, postmarked April 16th. It was due before the last board meeting. They quoted 4,500 gallons of calcium chloride for 1.125 a gallon and magnesium for 105 a gallon. I don't know if you want to rebid that, you want to look at that. I can give it to the road trip manager.
There's only one company, isn't there?
There's only one. We Energies requested a notification and contact during the design phases of any road construction. You want me to give them yours, or do you want me to give them yours?
Jim Thompson.
Zoning permits were issued by the county for properties on Ash Street, Sunset Meadow Drive, Meadow Avenue, County Road E, Cayman Avenue, and Stott. Sanitary permit is also issued to the property on Sunset Meadow. Board of review has been rescheduled to May 24th from 6 to 8. Publication and posting of the notice has been completed. And the 4-H are using the pavilion. They want to use it for the monthly meetings on the second Monday of every month. And they're willing to increase the donation that they make to utilize it all year, especially if we get the heat in there and they're using that. And then they'll also do some work around the park, which tonight they put the tables in the swing set out for us.
Tables all need staining.
And checks. Your checklist is check 18359 through 18383, including EFTs 2021-20 through 27 in the amount of $85,147.57. There are three bills that I need to get with the fire department treasurer regarding O'Reilly. I've got a statement dated March 28th. In April, the check was issued for the previous statement balance, which included some of what is on this statement. And the account has a credit, and the invoices are needed to reconcile that. The second one is to EMP. I've got an invoice in the amount of $70.49, but from the previous statement, there's a credit that was utilized by EMP, but that credit was not paid by the check that we sent them, so I think we still have a credit there. Plus we have the PO coming. And then Festival Foods, I've got a statement, but I have no invoices.
The EMP one, the credit that is on that invoice,
It's not on the invoice, it's on a statement.
on a statement, okay. When I order from EMP, certain things, they give you like bonus award points, and those, after time, turn out to be money that can be deducted from the bill. There was one that I did, it deducted like $20, because I had that many points built up. And this last one I just did, it deducted another $10, because I had that many points built up.
Well, this is way bigger than that.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll have to look at it. Those are the only two that I know of.
So I do have those. I don't, you guys wanna wait until next month until you review them or approve them with the checks. We Energy's in your list, you'll notice the amount is higher than usual. When I made the payments online, the bills were switched to paperless, and the spam filter caught my notifications. So this is catching the accounts up. There was also a misallocation when the town had to send We Energies a check for the installation of the gas at the pavilion. They credited that to one of the accounts instead of taking it for the installation. Those accounts are all balanced, and I talked to them today, everything's fine with that. The loan payment for the loan with First State is included in this just because of the meeting date and the due date next month. And then I would also like the board to consider allowing advanced disposal payments to be set up online. I talked to them, their online gal, and they said they could do it, but we can't just go online and sign up for this because our bill is $13,000, $14,000 a month. And the reason I'm asking for that is because it could be considered a utility according to the ordinance, and then I can pay it because the checks and the meetings and the invoices were always 2 months. Just the way the mail gets here and their invoicing dates.
That needs to be done separately from your report then?
Yep. Yep, we'll probably do that next month, but just think about it because that's a big bill. I don't know if you guys wanna put that on the utilities or not. You have to look at the ordinance and see if you agree with it.
Is it a fixed bill? I mean,
No, but it's in the general. Some things that change are the extra recycling that could go up or down if one of those is moved. And then depending on what their count is, if somebody doesn't put it out, that sometimes changes. I mean, I can give you an average, but it's not gonna be the average every month.
okay.
Can you tell me what EMP is? I don't.
Emergency medical products, that's where our EMS group gets 90% of our inventory from.
So to recap, the three you talked about, we can do next month.
The
Or as
bills?
far as, yeah, the bills to check with fire department.
Well, we might be able to catch up between invoices and statements if we do it that way.
And then to auto pay advance next month. So I will make a motion to approve this week's, or this month's checks as presented.
I got a couple questions.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, that's fine, you can do that during discussion.
Okay.
And Anybody want a second? Or no?
I'll second it then.
All right, questions?
You wanna go first?
Probably got the same questions you have.
Becker
I guess-
appraising, what is that?
Becker Appraising is the assessor. So we paid 11,000 to him already for his contract. This is the balance due at the end of board of review.
Okay.
So the three We Energies checks. though.
They are the fire station, the town hall, and the garage.
AC Sun's party tent rental?
That's the tent rental and the deposit for Fall Fest tent.
It's all memorized?
Apparently. I didn't even open it.
So the 29,000 for advanced disposal, is that 2 months because we're behind?
That, I guarantee you, within the next week, I'll get another invoice in there.
And what is Pioneer?
Pioneer Bank is the first state,
Oh,
it's
that's
the
it,
breeders.
That's just once a year for that payment. And there's what, 2 years left or 3?
This is the third payment,
This is the
should
third
be
one?
down
So
to
it's just a balloon payment once a year?
Yeah.
once a year.
Complete Office of Wisconsin.
That is office supplies for fire department. Tape dispenser, file folders, and
Like I
lids.
said, did you have it
See, I do have
memorized?
it. on here.
You're
So-
reading that one.
No, I'm not.
Oh,
So for We Energies, we have the 3 locations, but for Marshfield Utilities, there's only one?
Marshfield Utilities, no. Marshfield Utilities is one check in QuickBooks because the invoices, it lumped them.
Oh, it does, okay.
I didn't lump it in QuickBooks because I wanted to explain it. So next month, We Energies will be one.
Oh, okay.
We Energies is streetlights, the fire station, the pavilion, the town hall, and the garage. There's 2 streetlights on that. Alliant is also streetlights in 2 other locations, I believe.
So that's electric and gas?
Alliant,
No, We Energies. So
We
gas-
is gas.
Okay.
Marshfield Utilities and
Is
Alliant is electric.
It's like commercial utilities took over Stratford, so they should have took over the Alliant part on it. Unless they just took over the city of Stratford.
Now, if you go to the end of the line and we're still in Town of McMillan, it didn't.
Maybe just the utilities is taking care of it.
Maybe.
Any more questions?
Thank you.
Oh, it was a farmway truck and trailer. 18,357.
That was approved at the last board meeting. That was the additional check for the fire department. So it's not included in the total. It's already approved. It's on the checklist because I run the report from meeting date to meeting date.
I think that was passed.
We did pass that last month.
Yeah, but it was, yeah,
Yeah.
It might have been passed.
that's okay.
I didn't memorize that one.
That was last month, that was memorized.
Exactly.
You gotta flush something.
Yes.
We need to read the motion that you have?
No.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those against, say nay. Ayes have it, passed. Approved.
Okay, so in your packet is the quarterly, the first quarter budget versus actual. This was presented to the board last month. Obviously, it was a different board. Anybody have any questions?
Can you tell me more about the dog licenses fee in and out?
So the reason that it's labeled that way is because that's how the Form CT goes in. The first quarter is what was brought in for dog license. The majority of that goes out and is paid to the county in our settlement. So we do a dog settlement in January for the last 8 months of the previous year, and then we do another settlement in February. The town only retains 50 cents per license that's paid to the treasurer as part of their wages for issuing the license.
How many licenses is that, Steve?
Oh, Lord, about 90 or so, maybe 100.
Oh, it's not that many.
There's really no way to average that. I mean, you could have $5 for a puppy, you could have $10 for a fixed dog, you could have $20 for a late dog, or combinations thereof.
Yeah, just how many dog licenses?
I don't know,
No, I'm not asking.
I don't have that software.
So the mutual aid fire protection, we didn't. Am I reading this right? That,
Where you at?
2/3 of the way down.
yeah, 47323. So we didn't budget anything, but the actual is $2,195. Is that correct?
That is correct.
What is it?
That's a bill from Stratford that we don't know until we actually have calls with them. Because between McMillan and Stratford, we have a mutual aid agreement, so they pay for our services, we pay for theirs, back and forth.
Oh. But you don't know what it's for?
Well, no, it's for services of our trucks and our people, but that's an unknown number, because we don't know how many calls we're gonna have each year.
Oh, okay. And what about the refuse garbage curbside?
What about it?
Looks like, we approved 164,000, but the actual is 191,000?
Because the.
Sorry for all the questions.
No, you're fine. So it's 191, 159, 16 because recycling is also, included in that 191. So your garbage and recycling is budgeted at those two amounts, but for some reason, the recycling was, taken out of QuickBooks as an account.
Okay, oh, okay.
So that 191 is a total for garbage and recycling.
Oh, all right.
So you really gotta add the two then,
Right.
one below it with it.
That's better than,
And that breakdown on the second page, that breakdown that Steve was referring to earlier, where it says 24,600 due to school districts. Every one of the school districts in the town of McMillan have a referendum. It's not broken out, it is on your tax bill, but the only way that you're gonna break that out, that you're not gonna see it in a February settlement or a January settlement. But this is what is budgeted according to the assessment papers. That's the only place you're gonna see that breakdown. And there's not gonna be, it's gonna look like garbage and recycling. You're gonna see a total that was paid to each of them, but I don't know how they figure out what part is referendum and what part is the payment. The county sends us the numbers and we send them the check.
Just so everyone in the Marshall School District voting area knows, the last referendum has no end date.
That's correct.
So in 2 years, if they come and want another referendum, it doesn't mean that the one that just voted in goes away. That is the normal. Anything above.
And the one that was just voted in is not on this paper. Because this one expires, and then that one kicks in.
With no end date.
page 3, 51 910s, talks about some taxes there.
So every year, there's an overpayment on somebody's taxes, and that, there's no way to guess that. I mean, we could take the last 3 years and average, but we'd still probably end up being wrong. And our first quarter at 5,000, that was a good year.
So it's an overpayment on property tax.
Correct. With a refund to the taxpayer.
And for all of these came in, that's where they should have been.
Okay.
Do we know why our insurance went up? Like $400?
What number, Nicole?
Five,
up.
2, 2.
So the budget, the approved 2021, that $400 in that first column,
Yeah.
that was approved with the budget. It didn't actually go up. It's just, that was what was approved based on previous years in the budget,
So the 847, is that?
is
like
your
a s-
actual cost.
Is that a 6-month premium that you pay? Is it a 6-month premium?
No, it's annual. Annual. We pay it once a year.
And I believe part of that was because we had upped the insurance on equipment.
I think that's correct.
Part of it was,
Yeah,
we upped the cybersecurity, the equipment for the fire department, because, yeah, we're in the fire.
yeah.
I think it was, what, Adam, 2 or 3 vehicles? 2, for sure.
Yeah, I believe it was 2. I don't
It
remember.
could have
So,
been.
so there's 4 quarters in a year, so that's $1,600 we budgeted then? Am I understanding that correctly?
No, the budget was 400, we paid 847.80, the
So it
bill,
was only budgeted in quarter 1.
that annual budget.
It's paid once a year. That's it. So
Yeah, but I'm
it's
just talking
gonna
about the budgeted amount, it's just budgeted for the quarter 1.
No,
be- No,
annual,
for the year. Approved, 2021.
Well, that's for the whole year.
yes.
Gotcha.
Let's rescue snow.
That's the snowmobile.
That's
That's
our-
all. Oh, okay.
Snow machine makes snow.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was. I don't have a question.
The only other thing that you might see that you have a question on is like the constable. It budgeted 3,500. And it's broken down in QuickBooks, and it's not broken down during the budget. So you're gonna see a budgeted amount, and then you're gonna see lines underneath with no budgeted amount, but it comes out of his total. The perk is the same way. Debt service is the same way because the interest and principal changes every time we make a payment.
Everything
I don't know. Questions?
You don't need a motion on this, we're just reviewing it. That's-
No, it's just a review. Educational.
good? Yes.
Sorry, Patty. Go ahead.
Don't be sorry. This is the time to ask questions. New business, open or award quotes for lawn mowing.
I don't have any, do you have any?
It's just the one from Beaver Creek?
I think there's two there.
That's what was sitting up here on the table that I got, that was sitting here when I got here.
Okay. You ever make notes?
Sure.
Okay,
You want me to go on the whiteboard, or you want me to do it here?
that's up to you.
Go on the whiteboard.
I never did that.
From Beaver Creek. So we're gonna call it Area 1 and Area 2, so I don't have to repeat it all the time. Area 1 is going to be Town Hall, Pavilion. Area 2 is gonna be Fire Department. Area 1, 210. And that includes, yeah, I got the wrong glasses on.
You want me to hold it for you?
These are my new ones and they're just horrible.
I have a magnifying app on the.
Yeah. Their quote is mowing and trim, so 210 total for Area 1 and Area 2 Fire Department is 110.
Per time?
Yes,
You said it was for mowing and trim.
yes. Lawns and landscape,
That's the company name?
L&L.
Where are they located?
Half Mile Drive, Marshfield.
New?
Sure. Area 1, 240. And this just says lawn mowing, this is not included, there's no part of trimming in this that shows up here. And then Area 2, 130.
Should I go back to 30?
Hey, correct.
I only have 2 markers, so.
All-Star,
Maybe I have one.
and Robin, you met with, this was a Friday, that Thursday, Friday, whatever? Okay. Was it like that? Your area's messed up on this one. Area 2. 90 for mowing, 30 for trimming for 120.
You got the restart rotation.
Just put plus 30.
There.
Area 1, 120 plus 40. So that's 120 for the mowing and $40 for the trimming, 90 for the mowing and 30 for the trimming. And the cost for them to spray weed control was $75 an hour.
An hour?
Yes.
That takes a while.
Solutions with a Z. Area 1, mowing 200 plus 25 for trimming. Area 2, 110 plus 25 for trimming. And the cost of weed control spray for both would be $25 per.
$25 each.
Each application or each? place
I'm gonna
and
guess
each application?
each place, each application.
Okay.
So a flat rate of $25, and how many times?
How many
3 times?
Depends on how often it rains.
Yeah.
You know, put it on, it rains next day, well, it's shot. So then you're gonna be spraying in another week or so. So it could be 2, possibly 3 times a year as a rule.
Yeah, and the weather is so great nowadays with for their predictions. It's awesome.
Is that all?
Turf painters.
What painters, is that what you said?
Turf painters.
Oh, turf, sorry.
Area 2, 200. And this is, trade is included in this estimate. And
It
then,
is or is not?
Is.
Okay.
And area 1, 125. I gotta think he's got those messed up, but
Let me say that looks backwards.
yeah, I'm gonna guess it's the other way. And Travis put down not licensed for spraying.
Are the rest of them?
L&L and Beaver are,
They got a card?
they have a card and insurance for
I don't believe Solutions was, and I have no idea about
All-Star,
All-Star.
turf painters? They're not?
Nope.
If you look under Department of Agriculture, it tells you specifically, even if they spray Roundup in a park where it's accessible to the public, they have to have a card. So,
Which brings the catch-22. If we do it ourselves,
you can't,
right,
because you are dealing with a public park. If you do it yourself, that's fine, you need to be licensed. There's 22 pages you can read, Department of Agriculture.
I'm just asking.
Okay, I'm just telling you. Went through this many times before. They have to be licensed. You can't do it yourself unless you're licensed.
So park is separate than fire.
No, that's all commercial property, so
Municipal.
it's all municipal.
So we should be licensed when we're spraying over there.
All of it has to be licensed. Even if they're using Roundup. Oh, the only way they can get by without being licensed is to mix their own product, which would be vinegar, water, Epsom salt, and Dawn.
Works better with no water. You wanna do something? I'm just saying.
And on a sunny day too.
And on
Yes,
a sunny
that's
day, and
very
it's gonna
helpful.
take at least twice as long for the weeds to die. But that's the only way they can get by legally without having a card.
So that sounds like it leaves us with the top two. Unless somebody knows if these two are licensed.
Yeah, I can't guarantee with All-Star, I didn't meet, I don't know, did he say anything, Rod, when you?
No, you
I can't assume that he is, because I don't know. He's got it on here that the cost for doing it, and the other ones are not licensed for it, you can put it on there, but.
Who owns L&L?
Neither one of them quoted for spraying ones.
Is it,
Do we have to spray?
Yeah, you do, you've got all kinds of bricks that you have
No,
weeds
it's
growing
not.
up in.
I don't know.
And there, it's already grown.
Yeah,
There's no
it's
cover
already covered
carryover
up.
from last year.
If there's a website, can Patty look up All-Star right now to see if they have a card?
I could if we had a router over here and internet, but I could go in the office and they could do it. Maybe.
My guess for that price is a no.
but on that aspect, L&L and Beaver Creek did not put anything down for spraying or weeds or anything else either. So,
What about any maintenance that they'd be doing? Did anybody quote anything per hour? It's like, when Case was doing it, he put the mulch in, which was done last year, so it doesn't need to be done this year.
And some of the, because I just kind of did my own little thing here, before I had a copy of the contract. Solutions was $45 an hour for any other service, and mulch $65 per yard spread.
And that's what us paying for the mulch?
That's them.
Uh,
So, what I had on here was any additional request, any additional work requested will require a quote, for example, tree trimming, landscaping, etc. Not that they just do it, that if at whatever time the board or.
The supervisor would tell them, we need those branches trimmed down, or this year we need to put bark in there.
Yeah, that would request a quote for services before services are rendered, so.
What was the phone number for All Star? I'm on their website, I think. Was it 715-486-9343?
486-9343.
It says that he's certified pesticide and fertilizer applicator.
Well, if he's certified, then he should have the card.
I don't see the card on here, but,
If he isn't gonna have to have it on there.
okay.
It's just a little card, about so big, got a 6-digit number on it, I believe.
And on the little thing on the proof of insurance and spraying license.
You did for All Star? That's All Star?
That's what yeah, that's what. Well, I didn't do that. I asked my beautiful wife to sit in 2 minutes because she's fast. Me, not so much. I did that before I seen Josh doing that, so it worked.
All Star is certified pesticide and fertilizer applicator, according to their website.
You missed me, I already said it.
I told you I had to go in the office for internet. I don't have data.
So we know Beaver Creek is and L&L, we don't know.
L&L is.
L&L
Yes.
is, and Beaver Creek is.
So the top three are.
Yeah.
So who's got the best for?
All Star looks best to me.
All-Star looks.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just gonna be a 1 year agreement to do the law?
It used to be 3. We got set up for 3 years, and then you each could get, we could give them 30-day notice if you don't want them, or they can give you 30-day notice if they're putting.
It was set up for 3 years, renewed annually, so it really doesn't matter how we do it.
Yeah. And then they've also come forward in the past where gas prices had went up, which they're currently doing, where maybe next spring they'll ask for a few dollars more, if they keep rising, so. Who did that at that time? Is that Turk Gamers that did that? I think so.
The case has been going as long as I've been on.
I think he was just on his second contract, wasn't he?
Been doing it.
He's been there quite a while.
5 or 6.
So where's All-Star from?
Marshall.
Marshall?
So when fuel goes up, the price goes up, but when fuel comes down, the price doesn't come down.
No, he never does. Kind of like
Just
a
give them
grocery
key to
store.
the tank and they can get it out of there.
How's that work with snow plowing?
Yeah.
Little big business.
It's just a question.
I donate all the gas to Legion this year.
Do you? You're a nice guy.
Did they happen to say in their quotes how long they wanted for?
No, again, they didn't have copies of it. They could begin with,
I go with All Star.
yeah.
Serious not to?
I mean, if you don't like
No,
it after a
Rod,
month,
you
if you
probably
do a
have
crappy job.
talked to more than anybody else. It's-
Move on.
Use as straightforward as anybody else when they come up, I mean, ask a few questions on where, how.
You can see a bigger company.
You get a white truck with no lettering on it.
I mean,
Well,
I'm
these
just curious
licenses,
if,
that's
you know,
big
right,
concern.
What's,
Right.
You know, you don't, and another thing is they cannot do it on weekends
I told both ones that I talked to that. they
because
could
it's
not do it.
rented. So they need to, Tuesday's normally a good day, Monday or Tuesday is a rule, so.
And not having an issue with liability insurance requirements?
No, I would assume they've all, I mean, the other guys I talked to, I know they had it, I'd seen it, but I didn't request a copy of it for this, and it was
They have to turn that in before they start though.
on notification, so I would recommend All-Star and to contact them. You'll have to get the required documents down here before they, so they're on file.
I'll make a motion, we accept All-Star.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second to accept All-Star. All those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. Ayes have it. All-Star has the quote.
You don't want to read it if I do it.
The rezone, you want to say something, Dorothy, on it?
Our plan commission, we approved it.
The resolution's at the back of your packet for the rezone. I have the original, so you just need to go through and answer all your questions and sign it if you're gonna approve it. The last page got the fee for denial.
Hey Dorothy, you have no concerns with this?
No, all they're basically doing is swapping land from one side of the property to the other,
Okay.
because Steve is building his house, Steve Lake is building his house back in there, and he's gonna be taking the driveway.
Oh,
Yeah, it's,
And this is land they swapped a number of years back.
about every 3 years, they
Yeah.
decide to change their boundaries back and forth. Mostly they're paying for surveyors.
Are they gonna still be sharing that south driveway then?
Pardon?
Are they still gonna share that south driveway then, or no?
At this point, yes, but down the road, who knows? Because if you look at your map, it's basically going to be 2 businesses.
I get a copy.
They'll have the recycling, and then that barn, when it gets done, will be a venue. But that's not on the document yet.
Oh, look, there's like 10 pages of maps.
I make a motion to rezone.
You want to see the maps?
I second that.
So we have a motion and a second to accept the rezone. Further discussion?
Any future stuff that Bernie's got planned up there with taking the barn down and, I mean, that's between him and Marathon County for the most part. We're gonna have like small little things in there, whether the wine tasting is gonna be in there or if he's gonna hold events, but that's between him and Marathon County at that point for their license for that.
Was the fire department contacted on a couple of things on that too, or not yet?
I just signed off on the approval for not having a sprinkler system. That's all I was asked to look into.
Any more discussion on this? All those in favor of the rezone?
Aye.
Those against, nay? Passes. This time we'll make the appointments for the board committees. Tom, you have highways. Nicole, you have library and newspaper,
Newsletter.
newsletter. Buildings and grounds will be Kevin, and garbage and recycling will be Bob.
What are you doing?
Because right now I'm just helping everybody out.
Oh,
I think think you should co-chair on highway. Because your availability and conversations I've had with our former chairwoman, and how much phone calls and.
How do you work out during the day,
It depends, you know,
for the most part?
for the most part, I'm in
You
Northfield.
need to be on the rod, somebody needs to be available.
Okay. Does that give us a problem then with the highway committee or not?
No, when the highway committee meets, it's posted anyways, so it's a legal meeting. Just a recommendation to come back to the board with whatever the highway committee does. The board still has to vote on anything anyways.
Okay. Do we have a motion for the board to accept my?
I'll make the motion to accept appointments.
Second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. Ayes have it. It's accepted. Security of the board computers. Ones that were issued, or that we've gotten through COVID money.
So we want to-
Somebody securing,
Prior to this, I was given some questions from some of the board members before we were voted on with this, or before we were voted in and took our oath. So I'm just opening it up for discussion to the board.
Mike's sitting home on the desk yet, I don't know. Patty's there, an email that was supposed to be sent that we do some actual security login thing on it to begin with, because other than turning it on once or twice, it's pretty well set on the desk.
Is there a purpose for us to have these? I mean,
we were gonna use them during COVID for Zoom, because the public wanted to come to meetings, we got to work with you. But one thing that Jessica was working on is there's Microsoft 365 on those, okay? Are you guys familiar with how this works? Okay. In Microsoft 365, if you save it in OneDrive, every computer can see what's on there, okay? If you save it in a file, nobody else can. So she was working on policies and procedures, which she basically had done, was typing it up, so you should be able to see it on all the computers. So you could follow along to see what she was doing. So, but if you save it to a file, nobody else will see it.
If you save it to a drive, anybody who sees it can edit it, or just the originator of the document edits it?
So it'd be draft anyway, because it's not board approved.
So anybody can go in, so if whoever's working on policies and procedures does something one way, someone goes on the drive and looks at it and says, oh, I don't like this, I'm taking this out, and then she goes back and reads and says, that's not what I had. Now you have items to do that.
Protect the file.
You can do that, you can also
Yeah.
archive it and follow
Yeah.
the changes, I don't,
Yeah,
don't.
but I mean, you
see
can
that.
at least look at it, read
If
along.
you don't want anybody using it, don't put it on OneDrive,
Yeah,
save it to your hard drive. You can default, Microsoft 365 is defaulted to OneDrive, you don't have to put it there. I mean, what's the security issue? What's the question? Because debating how a piece of software works seems like a,
waste of time.
we have got better things to do.
I'm just gonna state that it was COVID money, it was for the future in case things got bad and concerns over the residents is the reason why we got these. I'm not sure I'm ever gonna use it, but it's sitting at home.
I use it all the time. I have great, I mean, emails for township. Of course, I got a ton of them, so.
There, I mean, with all board members having a computer designated for the town, there are ways that we could implement to make it seem a little bit, more useful than it is right now, but if you don't understand how to work a computer, then again, we have better things to do with our time.
Step one was to get them and they were paid for. Step two would be to implement policy and procedure and usage of them, which, I don't see.
When do we Maybe
Maybe
that's
in
a
the
different
future.
topic.
So where are the computers now?
In the office, in the clerk's
Yeah.
office, and Rob's got one. And Kevin's got one.
The key thing for the board also to remember too is if you're doing, and it's highly recommended not to, but if you're doing township business on your personal computer, you just open your personal computer up to, basically if somebody has a request of open records and you have replied back and forth on that computer, that is now opened up for that. I mean, they have to get a warrant for it, but.
They can't go into your personal files if they have to specifically request something. So,
Right.
I mean, there's some truth to that, but it's not.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure on that one either, because
They can request your personal files, because you're personally liable as a supervisor. or
Only if it
sheriff.
deals with town
on certain
business and
things,
they have to be
there's,
specific in their request.
Yeah.
when we had a meeting at the county and they talked about reimbursement of cell phones, and I asked about that, and they said if they're paying for your stuff, then it is open to public record where they can take your phone and go through it. But if you're using your own personal stuff and you're not being reimbursed for that technology, it doesn't qualify for that. I
But
don't
they
know for
could get
sure,
warrants
that's just
to do it
going
anyway. I mean,
That depends on what level of the investigation you're
Yeah.
at,
yeah,
honestly.
I mean, on a normal, whatever, you shouldn't have an issue with anything.
No.
But I mean, you guys were all setting up different email addresses anyway. I put it on the computers.
Is there Norton and all the security software installed on these devices too?
No, you'll have to, well, some of them I think have to be downloaded because I don't think former supervisors even turn some of them on. So we may
Mine,
have,
I
we'll
gotta
have
find
to
out.
down. it's
Quit
not
talking
necessary.
about me, I'm sitting right here.
Okay, sorry. Just trying to be nice. We've got access to it.
I think the big question that was amongst us was, they're there, they were purchased for a purpose, is the need still there for them? And I guess it's up to the board to.
I mean, there's still some people that, Larry Seafer is a good example, won't come to the meetings because of COVID. And he's got underlying conditions, so, yeah, he'd probably watch it at home. So, if you got Zoom set up on it.
Yeah, we never got to step two. It was Step one, this is available because of COVID and.
Yeah, we were gonna hook up the router, which we already have, and we just didn't get to it, to see if that would happen.
The router would have been in here.
Yes, it would have been in the office. But you'd have had the router in here, and it would have had 6 computers on it. So we didn't know if it was,
Whose internet service do we have?
not in the town hall, we don't have it.
Frontiers.
We ran a cord, we have a cable run from the office down here, so we could plug it in down here.
So they have a Zoom meeting in here though.
Right.
They have the network
Yes.
Yeah.
in the building.
That's
Well,
where the
not
router
quite in
would
the
come
building. There's a cord in the building.
Mhm.
We need the router,
there's some
we
work
need the
there.
extender, we got some work to do.
Well, you'd have to hook the router up and make sure that it can handle 6 computers, because you could have hers and 5.
And then I'm not sure Frontier has got the capability.
Well, they said they do. They assured me they do.
Yeah.
Do you believe them? No.
No.
Geez, I got Country Wireless and I got 6 channels on my Netgear router, and when the kids are home, I got 8 or 10 devices on it. So if that can handle that.
We've got Spectrum, we got 2 lines running, and Lisa has her own for business, but if I come home and turn something on, for whatever reason it affects hers, and they tell her that it doesn't because it's 2 separate things.
I think it just depends, kind of hit and miss, you know. I got charter, so I can't complain.
You're lucky.
Yeah, jealous.
Mhm.
They must just run down.
It just goes as far as
your
numbers,
road.
that's it.
Yeah.
Was it Solaris that we were working on a few years back about getting?
Oh my God,
That was a big topic at the town meeting,
Yeah,
town
Solaris, no.
association meeting.
Not Solaris, right?
Was it Solaris?
Yeah.
What was the one on the jump, Solaris?
Yeah, they were gonna call Key and get parts over there and Cherry and. But that didn't happen.
Don't they have all the wiring buried out here
Fiber
already?
optics is up till Elm Street, not any farther.
What's that?
Fiber optics only goes to Elm Street.
That would be over here.
Mhm.
So is there a login for these computers, or you just hand them out to the board member and then,
You can set your own.
oh, but there's no like.
Well, there is, but it's through, it just comes up. When the Microsoft,
Log in for what? I mean, you wanna secure your computer and put a password
Well, I
on it?
didn't know if it were secured before, yeah, so do we need to,
I think the majority of them, once they're turned in, have been reset, so
oh,
yeah,
I don't know.
it's a factory reset, there's nothing on it.
I can guarantee that on mine. I mean, it's down to bare bones. So,
Mine too.
yours too?
You never turn yours on, you said.
That's why it's still down to bare bones.
Any other questions on this?
Yeah, it's just gonna be future, if at some point we wanna move in, you guys are probably all there in the electric technology age, but I refuse to.
Wow.
This smartphone is really useless.
That's a computer too, you know that, don't you?
What's that?
I said a cell phone is a computer also. You know
Yeah.
that, don't you?
As long as it, make a phone call and take a picture of it.
Okay, if we're good, no further discussion, we'll just move on. Cell phones for the town board members. With lieu of what happened in the city of Marshfield, I did, basically with the, I believe it had something to do with the police chief, the mayor, and I believe also the fire chief was also gotten, it was requested for open records to hand his over. That's the kind of the quote that I got for, it'd be per line. There's different, two different
Can you
phones.
explain a little more about that, because I don't think they
Just
understand.
man's got a hand, that's what it amounted to.
Because he deleted some stuff off of his phone, they were able to bring everything else off the phone, but they basically canned him anyway for deleting some stuff off of his phone. Because he used his phone, he used his personal phone. It does go a little deeper than that, but that's one of the reasons that they used for it, because he deleted stuff off his personal phone, and he had a city phone. So the question is, if you're using your personal phone, what can you delete off, what you can't delete off? And when it comes time to hand it over, it's not gonna take, I mean, they're not gonna just go, oop, okay, it's all off. Then when it comes time to, I mean, I've seen some stuff already where I probably should be taking pictures and things of different culverts or different things that are happening. Or weights of trucks and stuff like that. And then when it comes time to, if I'm no longer in this position, I can hand over the phone with all of that information on it. It's not downloaded off my phone and give it to somebody, it's right there. It's townships all the time. If I end up leaving the area for something, a funeral or something, or a wedding or something, leave the state, I can leave that phone with, so the people that are calling that number can also call the number, and then somebody up here that's in the township will answer.
We all have smartphones, right?
I do.
Everybody have a
Yes.
smartphone?
Yeah.
And you have the capability to send it to wherever you want to. I mean, you could get it off your phone by doing that. And once you do that, what's the harm in deleting it from your phone?
Pictures from mine, because my phone is old, have to all come off through my data, which is
You
slow.
can't connect to a Wi-Fi to email?
No. Mine comes off data.
Yes.
Emails, but it does not do pictures.
He has such an old Samsung that it requires data for pictures. Because we've tried
Don't take any
looking.
pictures with your
Yeah,
phone.
but I got this, and if I'm gonna send a photo, it uses data too. Whether I'm hooked up to,
Any MMS will use data.
Mhm. But you could get it off of there real easy. All you have to do is email it to yourself. The picture, that ain't that tough. And then you could delete it off your phone.
So I've been with Cellcom before. This is not with taxes and all that good stuff. So you gotta add on a bunch of fees that they don't tell you about on here, first of all. Second of all, I don't want a phone, I already have 2 phones, I don't need a third. So I'm not in favor of it. If we do this route, I feel that if the taxpayers are paying for it, we need to make sure it's not used for personal business as well. if that's what we decide to do.
I would agree with that.
Well, if it's used for personnel at all, then the taxpayers have to vote on it. Because they set your wages and per diem. And that would be considered part of that. And also, it's not budgeted for.
I don't think you need it.
I like the idea of a cell phone more than I do a computer. Because I can use it. Seriously. I
Computers you
mean-
got free.
No, but he actually makes a good point, in my opinion, when he talked about, okay, so I'm out doing roads, and I'm taking pictures, and people are calling me, and I put information in this phone. You know, if I'm not here in a year or two, I can get this phone with the same number,
Mhm.
and people can still contact the next person that takes that position. And all that information is there, and that phone number is the same, it's not a different phone number. Because right now, I just gave him my phone number that I'm answering on my personal phone. And that way, it's all right there, and pass it to the next person. I like that idea.
But just to touch on what you just said a little bit, when it comes to highway, we have, might as well, all the information we have on every road, what we've done, you might as well read it right off this wall behind me right now. It is so bad as far as, and I see that county too with the roads that we have there. We have nothing. If there's one thing that this board can do in the next year, is to get something put down, whether it's on computer, that 10 years from now, the next people that are sitting here can go back and figure out when this road was overlaid, and that they crack sealed it the year after, because every crack reflected through it, to Birch Tree, to our road originally. Every road, what it used to be named to what it is now when they changed. There's no database to go back to.
Didn't Pat used to have, he had records for every road. He had files.
Yes, he does. But I
Yes.
believe that the county has that right now, if he told me correctly today.
Why would the county have our records?
They requested it for some culvert study or something that they were doing, and I don't know if he got it back.
Okay, so we do have files on each road then,
Yes.
okay.
But that's something that could be put on a computer, and it would be a use for a computer, I would
Yeah.
do that.
Because Pat keeps track of what he does every day on each road. So that should all be in a file. I knew they were somewhere.
But not accessible.
Oh yeah, you can get it back from the county. Tell them you want your records back, they can make copies.
So Gary, you and Paul went and did the last PACER report?
Yes, and Butch.
Yeah.
And we did do every culvert in the township, length, sizes, except for the county roads, because we were told anything on the county road was the county's, and then we found out afterwards that the culverts are ours, but the stop signs on the county road are theirs, but the culverts were ours, which, when we were out, we weren't aware of that, so, and we were gonna, with the COVID and everything last year, and Paul had a bad back, and Butch, and, so it never got done. So just whatever culverts are on the county road, like the corner of Birch and T, those culverts did not get done. But
Yeah,
every
it's
other
specific. It's not
culvert,
the culvert that goes underneath the county road, it's under our
Our
township
road,
road, and runs
right.
parallel with the county roads.
So when you did this on on our township roads, did you take pictures and save anything that way, or? Okay.
no, we do have some bad culverts.
I believe that.
It was all documented though, wasn't it, Gary?
Right.
Yeah. you guys
Pat,
got all
Patty's,
that.
I gave everything to Patty.
Yeah,
Okay.
if I remember, I looked at your hand scratching.
Don't worry about it, it got done, didn't it? It didn't cost the
Not
township,
completely.
and it didn't cost the township a nickel. I donated everything.
subject here.
Thank you.
So being it's not in the budget, we wanna revisit this back at budget time then?
So it's about $200 a month? Is that what it is? If we add in fees and everything else?
I'm thinking so, I did not get the fees and stuff out of her, no, I did not.
How many cell phones does the township pay for right now? 3?
4.
Who's it pay for? You?
Clerk, treasurer, officer in charge, and highway. Which is fire department, officer in charge is fire.
Well, you're already getting a phone now.
That's
Highway is Pat.
Oh, Pat, oh, sorry.
Because when they, and the reason that, one of the biggest reasons Pat has a cell phone is when he's out, he can be gotten in touch with, but when they switched over this phone to this lovely VoIP system that we have, they took out the landline, which does not give Pat an office phone anymore. It's got all these capabilities of having all multiple lines, but they got one phone and one line.
And it sucks. It's bad.
So we'll come back and visit this fall if it's something that we want to put in there. We should look at the entire township.
So those 4 phones are on Selka?
Yes.
That's the reason I only got, that's the reason I only went to SOCOM. Because that's who we currently have our stuff with.
And that's the rate that they give us to add an additional line or a separate?
Each additional line.
$35 a month, plus taxes and fees.
I think Cricket's what, $4 for $100
Yeah,
now?
it is.
Are they gonna
Kids
give
have
you the
that.
phone because Cellcom doesn't do that anymore?
No, they had,
Yeah.
it was either $8.30 for a Motorola or an iPhone was,
Tell you what, if you need to
$13.
take pictures of culverts, call me, I'll bring my phone.
I can take pictures with my phone, no problem.
It'll save the township some money.
But that might be where take the picture, download it on the computer that you're gonna get.
And then you can upload it to the cloud.
There you go. And everybody can see it.
Table it this time? That ends our things that we have on the agenda for tonight. So adjourn the meeting.
Am I supposed to do that? Is that what it says on there?
Yes, it does. Give me a hot minute.
I'll make the motion to adjourn this.
I thought
On your phones for the town board, each and every one of you was elected to be accessible to your constituents. So when your phones ring, same as when mine rings at 7 o'clock in the morning because somebody wants to put in the driveway or accessible for land use, please answer your phones. Same as the plan commission has to answer our phones, same as Patty has to answer hers.
Within reason of some of that. To get phone calls at 9 o'clock at night or whatever and call people back, no. On the weekends, leave it to your discretion. If Patty's got full-time working hours or hours that are posted,
Supervisor,
to call people back.
I'm sorry, but it's same as the plan commission.
Yeah, supervisor, I got no problem.
Yeah, weekends we don't have, but, yeah. But no, I mean, but please answer your phones,
Well,
that's
I
why the
almost
people
asked you.
voted for you.
And the chair. I don't care what time of day it is, you're gonna have to answer your phone because you don't know if there's an emergency out there or not. So, and you need to be available.
At least call them back. That was one of the things I got, thank you for us. We're not used to anybody calling us back. It's greatly appreciated.
Oh, they were used to it for the last 2 years, just so you know.
Thank you.
But again, within reason.
Yeah. Oh, I got calls at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. I answer the phone.
Yeah.
Because like I said, you don't know what it's gonna be. What time did you called me the night the pump went out over there.
I think it was 10 o'clock.
Yeah, he answered the phone, so,
11:30, we'll get the tree off the road.
yeah.
Okay, so, we'll Steve, motion for adjournment.
I'll second it.
No motion to adjourn the meeting, a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. Ayes have it, adjourned.
I don't know who's gonna take care of this, DOT. I got an email from them that there's a program coming down the road.
Forgive me, I went out here in the fall, and you never got the snow and stuff. Oh, I thought you did for a while.
I feel so much better when I can run the meeting.
Oh, yeah, thanks for coming by. How did you do out west?
I won $2,600. I came home with an extra $2,600.
Excellent.
Yeah, I got out there on Sunday night. It was funny, and then I
How do you
hit.
invest that or just put it in the socket?
Till I go next time. So I went out there first night. Within an hour after I got there, I hit 1,600. So I was ahead that night. Next night, I'm up a couple thousand total. Well, third night sucked, fourth night sucked, so that was all gone. The night before I came home, I hit
The numbers will average out, I understand.
I hit 1,600 twice on the same machine within a half hour. Then I went and packed her in, up into the room, and that was it. 2,600 ahead at that time.
I went on a cruise. I was at the end of my internship. It was an inexpensive thing that somebody put together. And so it was a charter flight. The cruise, when you first got there, machines in the gangways. Then there were machines in about 3 or 4 rooms on the boat that they locked every night. Those machines were dinging like crazy during the first day or so, and you could tell that the amount they pay back, they reset those machines every night.
Yeah, more than likely. Yeah, I had a good time when I was out there. I took work along because I went by myself. So I'd go down and gamble, and next morning get up, go out on Fremont Street, drink my coffee, people watch, gangs around, and then I'd go a couple times